Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, this has been an awesome Sunday so far. How about for you?
Yeah. I mean, pretty typical Sunday, I would say.
Typical Sunday. It's Sundays. It's always a good day because Sunday's a day where I get a lot of stuff done. Like typically on my to-do list, as things shuffle over from the day to day, as like the least important things, it's like, all right, we'll handle that tomorrow. Then tomorrow. Right. Sunday's the day where like it's like my catch-all day. It's like it will get done on Sunday, so it's not there on Monday. But yeah, we have beautiful weather. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers out there. We got Frank, Frank's a father in the club. We got Josh, father at the gym. We got Mo is in today. Happy Father's Day to Mo. And I reached out to Jeremiah and Peyton and congratulated them on their baby. They moved away, but they just had a baby. So this is Jeremiah's first Father's Day. And I also sent Haley a message just to wish Tim a happy Father's Day, because even though the baby's not here yet, he's still doing all the fatherly things, just like she was on Mother's Day. So it's a great day. Finished an on-ramp with a new barbell club member this morning. So it's like, what a nice way to start the day with teaching some weightlifting and having someone complete their first, 3 sessions, and they're about to dive into coming in and train with the rest of the team. But you got to meet him. His name is Oscar. He has a bodybuilding, powerlifting background. And so he's got a lot of good strength. He's just got the flexibility part is the tough part for him. But he's on board. He's ready to go. And he picks things up very, very well. Did you have a chance to see any of his practice lifts at all?
A little bit. Yeah, that first day.
Mm-hmm. He's got good speed. So it's really, I tried to start him off on the right foot and keep just really emphasizing keeping the bar like crazy close. And I think he might have been one of the first ever initial clients who's never done weightlifting before that didn't need extra cueing on the bar not looping out and like keeping it away from yourself, just because we drilled it so hard in the beginning of like high pulls and shrugs and muscle snatches. And I just really had him do a lot of that. And then some of the drops like snatch balances or drops that we don't do in Barbell Club really that often. Where you hold the bar overhead and drop that we see in like the Bergner warm up. I had him do a lot of those too, and it worked out really well. So he's just like primed and conditioned now to keeping the bar close. So that of course helps with his speed, and really it's just going to be flexibility, just spending time in those positions.
Do you think the bodybuilding kind of background might help with like keeping the bar close? Like I feel like they have a lot of awareness of like what this like type of pull would feel like and like what to activate.
Yeah, I think that is helping a lot too with him. Not so much on the clean. Like the right now the hardest thing for him was the front rack on the clean. And he told me, he's like, oh yeah, I have chest day tomorrow. And I'm like, we've been talking the whole 3 days about like his chest is so tight. And I'm like, you're going to go back and do chest day now? Like, make sure you're not sore for Wednesday, because he's going to start officially on Wednesday. But I think that does help, So of course, a lot of good help on the early parts of the pull, of keeping the bar close to the shins on the deadlift. I am like just starting him off the bat with like, let's drag the bar, keep it super close. He did ask a few times, like, should I make contact and bump the bar? And I'm like, no. That will come. Like, just let it happen naturally. If you just keep it close, it's going to happen. It'll be interesting to have him in class. The programming is set up very well for him. The fact that like, hey, Wednesday we're doing front squats and jerks off the rack. So he can really work on the jerk off the rack without having to do a clean. And the front squats, just spending time with the bar, stretching you out. Because when I asked him if he did front squats, he said, no, this is really hard, the regular front rack. So he doesn't do it. Instead, he does Zercher squats, which is fantastic. I wish we would do more Zercher squats, maybe someday. But uh, he, so he's not familiar with that position. So he'll get a lot of valuable time there, and then time to spend with just the snatch, just the jerk, just the clean as we go throughout it. And then a lot of accessory stuff that I think is going to help him too, because my goal with the accessory going up through states is we don't really need extra dumbbell pressing. We don't need kettlebell swing. We don't need like these other things. We're already doing so much squatting, pressing stuff already. What we need is a lot of dedicated core work and stability work and little muscle work. And I finally have settled on a sequence throughout the week that I'm really confident in. And it's what you practiced last week on the days you were there. So on Monday we'll do face pulls, we'll do jackknife sit-ups, and we'll do GHD hip extensions. It'll be a little different this Monday. Then on Wednesday we'll do halos around the body with heavy weights, going from a kneeling position up to standing and back down. We have a new exercise called a full moon. So you take a plate, bring it down to your feet, and then arc it around, and you're just tracing a big circle through the air, and that's going to really hit the obliques and everything. And then we have plank pull-throughs, so holding a forearm plank and pulling the kettlebell under your body. And then on Friday, we'll do, what are we doing on Friday? I just programmed it. I'm blanking on it. Oh, same thing of what you just did. We'll do the back plank or the Chinese plank. We'll do pal-off presses, and we'll do side bends with eventually. And the goal is to build all of these exercises up. Like everybody is no doubt going to be just body weight on the back plank until we can get to the point where we can start to add weight. And if you're holding easy 3 minutes all throughout, then we can start adding weight. But I would really like to see the results of like strength development in these static positions, or just taking the little joints, especially the shoulder, all around. I want a combination of mobility and strength, and I think we'll get it here.
Yeah.
How was your experience on Friday testing out those exercises? Were you sore on Saturday at all, or today in your core?
Not completely. Definitely felt it for sure. But yeah, not too beat up,
Not too
I would
bad.
say. Yeah.
Okay. Which exercise do you think you felt the most? Or like, were your obliques talking to you from the pal-off press? Was it more probably the Chinese plank? What do you think?
Yeah, I guess, what was it? And then what was the third movement?
Third movement was the side bends, the wide stance.
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. Yeah, I would say we were talking about that kind of like back side type of area.
Mm-hmm.
I think those all get hit probably the most, or like where it does hit everything, I would say, but since those are probably the most underdeveloped, because I'd say like the pal-off press was definitely like more towards the back of my core.
Mm-hmm.
And then same thing with the side bends, kind of getting deep into that. And then the planks was just all around. So again, like
Everything.
The ones that are used to really getting activated is more in the back. So yeah.
That's good. They're all going to work. At some point, there'll be an overlap, but then some of those exercises, like the pal-off press and the side bends, will target different things. Like it might hit other things, but it's like this is the main piece that it's really hitting. And I think this will set us up nicely to work the low back musculature of the core, and that's going to go a long way, especially with the back plank or Chinese plank, keeping your low back tight. And I think I've been noticing, I'm like, we kind of need that. We're kind of too, like, we know how to brace the front of the core, maybe the side, but the low back, getting that super locked in goes a long way. Because like if that's locked in, it's going to help you pull down into the snatch. So I think it's going to work out well. I think people will be surprised. Everything is going to be time priority. So it'll be go for a minute and just move and practice it and do what you can. We're not trying to do max reps. We're just trying to move for the minute instead of putting a specific number of reps on it.
Yeah.
We'll just go for time. On all those core workouts, they'll take 15 minutes tops. So it's like it's all 3 minutes on, some time off, all that stuff. And I think that doing it that way will also help us be time efficient. Where, all right, you don't have to worry about timing your 2 minutes of rest, and the set took you 4 minutes to do, but it takes him 3 minutes to do. Like, we'll all be able just to be on the same page. No matter what, we'll be able to get it done. I think with accessory work, especially if there's a lot of holds involved, going for time just makes sense,
right?
Instead of sets and reps. Because I mean, at some point we'll figure out, like, Miguel needs 15 reps, Schaff needs 10 reps, Alex needs 20 reps, but it's hard to know that right now. So if I prescribe a specific volume, I might be burying some of you that 20 reps is too many, but we don't really know if 10 reps is the optimal. Or are you tapping out at 12 reps because it's just the intensity of the workout that's getting you out, because you are a little more specialized for weightlifting? So are you being held back because you're not in that kind of a shape? So I'd rather just be, hey, move for this amount of time, rest if you need to, but if there's still time, do a little more. Kind of do what you can, because it's all still just accessory. That's all it is. What do you think about all that? Just the format of it, what that's going to focus on in our program?
Yeah, I think the going for time makes the most sense. And I even think, like, even if we want to get into like spacing, and if we have a full room that day, like, just put people on different stations and don't worry about overlap, because we'll be at different spots. And yeah, I think it's also a good thing to like set your own pace with. Because you might need a few more reps, more than like 12, and to like really start to feel it. Or you might need less. So yeah, I think it'll work out perfectly.
Yeah, that was another concern, especially anytime we're using the GHDs. It's like, you just don't want a traffic jam of people getting in there. And then if someone needs to go slower, now they're tying up people that just know how to go fast or have experience. And yeah, if Alex is just moving casually for a minute and he gets around 10 reps, that's appropriate for him. But if you know how to like just jam it out on jackknife sit-ups and you're getting 25 reps, that's appropriate for you. You've figured it out in the workout itself. Yeah. And we don't have to overthink this at all, or have people start to fall behind. If, again, Alex has to do 20, that's going to take him 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. He might have to break it up, but you're able to do them unbroken in 45 seconds. No wonder people are going to start to fall behind and things like that. So I'm excited to see it in action. We'll be really testing it out this week. So hopefully we get some bigger crowds to test it out. I think that'll help someone new too, like Oscar, just like, hey, just move, just practice this, and you're still going to feel it, because he definitely doesn't have that Metcon type of background, or like this kind of, I think, accessory background. I think he's already getting his butt kicked by just the barbell stuff we've been doing. He did decide he's not going to do CrossFit. He was gonna do both for a minute there. And after today, he's just like, I don't think I got it. And I'm like, that's all right. I didn't think you did either. But yeah, we were gonna try. So it's the barbell club already. I showed him what we do on the TV day one, and now that he's just been through it with just the barbell, and I told him that's our bar warm up. That's what we do every class. And he's just like, oh my God, I understand it a little bit more now. He's like, I don't know how, like, I have to try to survive this now, and I'm like, don't do your leg day early in the morning before you come in to do our leg day. Cause it's like I told him the other day, leg day is every day in barbell club. So yeah, I'm excited for him. I'm excited for where the program is shifting to and what we'll work on, and to see if we can build up things like, okay, for a minute, hold on the back plank, 15 kilos with a plate on your lap is your PR. And like, you have to like, if we get that up, no doubt it's going to help bring up so many weak points. Imagine if you were able to hold 25 kilos on your lap for a whole minute. Like, how do you think that would affect your strength and other things? Could you picture it? Because you did 10 kilos and you were like, I think you made it about 30 seconds and then it got really, really hard. Could you imagine doing 25 now for the full minute?
Yeah. And I think you were saying it earlier with like our team and I feel like we are like a strong backed team, but it's like upper back.
Yeah.
Like me and Chris are kind of similar in like our curve that we get. Cause I feel like we rely a lot on like puffing everything up, but you know, like you said, the core, the bottom back of the core is like something that we don't necessarily engage with too much. So yeah, if I'm able to get 25 kilos on for that for like any amount of time, that'll be huge for sure.
And now imagine the back is worked in weightlifting on the snatch and clean statically, isometrically. It shouldn't move. You know, it's just holds position and then you do the rest of it. So now imagine like how strong your back would be from top to bottom, like down into your hip and into the hammies and everything, pulling off the floor. Boy, I got to believe that's going to go a long way when you go to pick up 100 kilos to snatch it, you know, or those heavier cleans. Yeah. So it'll be interesting for sure. It's be I think a worthwhile pursuit and experiment. And like I said, I was plotting out so many things for our accessory work. Of course, I'd like to have pull-ups. Of course, I'd like to have dips and presses and dumbbell work and stuff like that. But I was like, you know what? We've done training cycles like that with or without it and had success on the lifts. So I don't think that not having them is going to lead to less success on the lifts.
Right.
But I think adding this stuff in definitely could. And so I'm okay with not having that stuff in. That would be like if someone's like, I need more stuff to do or want more stuff to do. We're doing pull-ups and dips and that stuff because that'll, of course, go a long way. But I'm excited for it. And the back plank or Chinese plank is something that I've wanted to do for a while. And I think we have a good situation right now to really try it out, which is a clean slate if we're going into something new and the way I have it set up. Before it would be like, all right, to kind of check that box, let's do Superman holds. But it's a great exercise. I think it's just lacking in a lot of what it could do for weightlifting, especially since the mobility becomes such a holding back type of a thing. Well, what do you think about that? I'm not saying that Superman is bad. And if you remember the Superman I showed you guys where you're on your back and you go on your back and heels and then snap into the hollow. You remember that one? I almost think that's that's closer to the back plank. So if anyone can't do the on the box, that's what we'll warm up with and try. But I just don't know if the Superman, for the vast majority of people, if a lot of people can truly get out of it what we want out of it. What do you think about this?
Yeah, I think because I mean my limitation was like getting my feet together because like my thighs are like squished together, but it's hard to like get everything there. So that's an interesting one because the limitation might not even be like core related almost. So yeah, I think that kind of takes out that limiter there.
Yeah, even in regular CrossFit classes, the limitation right off the bat is going to be the flexibility for so many people. Like it's like lift your chest off the floor and arms. I can't. I have no extension through the T-spine. So, but maybe with those people, instead of having them do it, flip over, do the one where your whole back chain is engaged by just digging your heels in the floor and propping your body in your upper back. So yeah, it's just I think this will be a good switch for it, and we'll still do stuff like Supermans or hollows and stuff in the warm-ups, but they won't have a main role like that in the training program.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Our first test will be at the Avitas 80K Series 1 or just maybe 80K Series. I don't know how many they're planning on doing this year. But at the end of August, we'll have that go down. Now, our main topic for today is CrossFit Semifinals. They just finished the online portion of it, like last week at some point. And I think they have until the end of the month to figure out who truly is qualified, right?
Yeah.
It's a long time.
So they're in video review right now.
Oh boy, how's that going?
I think so. What I've been seeing is that a lot of people are showing the leaderboard down to like top 10. The top 7 in each division goes through, but I think they've been showing top 10 because those scores are so close that, you know, if someone gets like major penalties, then it might shift things a lot. Yeah, but I don't know if how much will change. But yeah, they're still working on them.
I do see a lot of familiar names. I'm looking at this graphic on the Morning Chalk Up of who qualified at the individual qualifiers, which, boys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I didn't realize there were 10 in-person qualifiers. Like some of these competitions, I definitely don't remember. Like Far East Throwdown, I don't remember. One of them says Mad. I don't know what that is. Copa Sur. Like, of course, I know that you can't not hear about Mayhem Classic or the French Throwdown or Syndicate or Legends. So I know those, but a lot of these other little ones, like only 2 people qualified from Far East and Renegade. That's, I guess my question, if you know the answer, is how come some of them get more? Like at Mayhem, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people qualified. So how come they get more spots than Rebel Renegade? They got 2. 1 man, 1 woman.
Yeah. So it's I guess similar to how they were doing kind of regionals, or like the second iteration of regionals, where the ones where they essentially have all these spots are the bigger markets, I guess, for CrossFit. So something like Mayhem, that's like in the States, like a southern whatever. So they get 6 spots. Then there's something like Torian Pro, which is Australia, which we know for CrossFit is like a big hub. So they also get 3 spots each. Then there's Syndicate, which is also like in the States. So 3 spots each. French Throwdown, that's essentially just going Europe regional, 3 spots. And then a second one with Madrid, like a secondary European type of regional.
That's the Mad. There. That's Mad.
Yeah, Madrid. And then the smaller ones, I guess we'll start off with like the 1 spot only. So the Far East is just Asia. And that was typically how they did it, with like typically Asia gets like 1 spot, and then Rebel Renegade is South Africa. So similar there. And then Copa Sur is South America, and they typically would get like 2-ish spots. And then there are others that are kind of sprinkled around them there that were smaller, but still like around the States or like Canada-ish area.
Interesting. Yeah, it's and so it's not restricted in Mayhem is a big like hub or like in the part of the country that has a high density of athletes. You can still go from Australia and qualify at Mayhem.
Right.
Okay, so it's still people going all over, because like Hannah Black and Ben Fowler, they're not from South America or South Africa, are they? So they just went there and sniped those spots.
Yeah.
Okay, that kind of sucks. Yeah, if you're like a good CrossFitter there, and then one of these people roll in. I don't know. Is that a problem? Is it fair overall that like someone can bunny hop from all of these and just like they're gonna get the spot? But then again, I guess if you were like the hot shot in South America and you didn't beat them, you're not good enough to go to the games anyways. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a good way to bracket it.
I do think it's extremely flawed, but I think it's always been that way. Like, I mean, I think again, it's the inconsistency. Like, there were years where for the women's side in Australia to only get 3 spots was ridiculous, because they had 5 of the top women. So we would see people who would probably get top 10 at the games not even qualify. So there are things like that, but yeah, it's always been like that where you could kind of, or you would see people like move for the year. And I think Dubai, I think that like at the almost like a Far East almost, but I think it included Dubai. And one of those was like Jamie Simmons now, but she works out or she lives in the Arab Emirates, so she would like take one of those spots, and then it would get somebody else who like got second, who was probably a lot worse than the rest of the field, but you know, if you're in a region that nobody else can go to,
Yeah.
kind of clears it up. Or like when Iceland was a huge hub as well, they would just take all the European spots because they were so strong there.
Is it weird that some like all right, 10 years ago, Iceland, you got all these killer athletes. Is it weird now that like it's like it stops and like are like the old athletes not developing the new upcoming crowd? Like there's got to be a million daughters out there that all want to be Annie or oh, I forgot her name. What's
Katrin or Sarah.
Katrin or Sarah. Yeah. So it's like, which I thought Sarah was making a comeback. I thought she was.
I think what she's doing is starting to compete again. She's had like bad, I think like ACL, MCL type stuff.
Yeah. And rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease type things. I feel bad for her because like she at one point like I was rooting for her. I'm like she might be able to do it, and she kind of just. I know she had a lot of, you know, sports psychology type issues, and then like different teams and stuff like that. Like I remember when like I don't know how it is now, but I remember when like there were like all these camps, and they were kind of like burning athletes out or like not the best environments for these people. And I kind of feel like she's someone who maybe kind of got the short end of the stick on that whole thing before they really started to figure out who good coaches are and what good camps are, and not like, okay, just because you were the 5-time fittest athlete in the world doesn't mean everyone can train like you could. You're still so much leagues above them, you know, and you're burning people out. I know Haley Adams got derailed by that a little bit too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know.
I feel bad for those athletes that they were kind of like, they were almost like test subjects for that future people would benefit from, because they're like, oh, we won't do that.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's just cycles. And I mean, there's so much more out there. I think when Iceland got really big, it was like, oh, we can do this thing, and it became really popular. But I mean, from people that I know, like other athletes from Iceland, like a lot of them are weightlifters. I mean, even High Rocks, as we've seen, is like getting bigger and bigger still. And I mean, we can get into it later. I think it'll come up, but just some things are more monetarily secure than, you know, going for a whole CrossFit game season to maybe win no money at the end of it, you know? So I think a lot of athletes are moving to, you know, things that make a little bit more sense in that way.
Yeah. You still have to take risk at some point.
Yeah.
Well, we had those individual qualifiers, and I'm seeing a lot of names that I almost recognize all the names, because so many of them came to the gym last year, you know. But I'm seeing a lot of people that it makes sense that they're going. So it's not really standing out off of this list who isn't in and who is like in jeopardy. I am, of course, happy to see Ricky Gerard made it. And of course, I see Jason Hopper. Happy to see Moritz Feiberg is on there. I just like that guy. Like he came to the gym, nicest person. Like so humble. I remember messaging some of these people, and like how polite they was awesome. You know, they're like no ego about them at all, except probably for when they're out on the competition field. I see Gabby Magala. I see Annika Greer. Like, I see everybody. So who's missing from this list that would stand out?
Yeah. I think we're in a weird
Oh my
spot
God,
where,
sorry. Justin Medeiros. I don't see Justin.
yeah, so he's on online. So his
Wow.
score isn't fully settled yet.
Okay.
He seems to be in a qualifying spot. Um, I think the men's side is more like bigger names are still in the online.
Hmm.
But I mean, same thing on the women's side. I mean, there's Alexis Raptis who
Oh,
for online, it seems like she's won online semis, so she'll be in Ariel Lowen. Um,
yeah.
but there's some that people are saying in the online semis that, maybe shouldn't be there, but because it's an online qualifier, like people might just squeak in because, you get to choose your environment and all of these things. And, you know, but
Yeah, this
yeah, I
is
think for the
a
most
weird
part,
thing for sure with the two there. I don't can you because of the nature of online and the nature of all these in-person ones, does it can you just blanket them all under semifinals? Because it seems so different. Like it's like, all right, you had the semifinals in person, and then you had the quarterfinals and the open before that. They were three distinct things. The online also seems like it's nowhere near what the in-person
right,
one was, especially because you get to choose your judge, and maybe your judge is your coach and they don't make all the calls, and somehow by no one catching things you sneak through, or but then again at the in-person ones you get screwed by judging too.
yeah.
I don't know. Okay, are they even really this comparable?
I would say no, because I think about like you have to stay in frame if you're doing an online semifinal. So what they can program is very limited. I think Colton Mertens is a perfect example where, he won the open and he did great in quarterfinals. But like I was saying earlier in the season, I don't know if it necessarily translates well to the in-person games. And I mean, I
Yeah.
think I want to say he went to Mayhem as well, didn't qualify. He went to Syndicate and didn't qualify. And it looks like he
Yeah.
will qualify through online semis. But is he just good at online style workouts? Because I mean,
Yeah.
the simplicity it's more simplistic because you have to again like stay in one spot essentially. Is he just built for
And
that, or will that translate well?
he's definitely built for it because if you watch his performances for the open and stuff, everything is like spaced out by CrossFit standards. But he's got that thing where like he'll come off of the wall walks and get right on the pull-up bar and then go right to
Right,
the box. And then like so there's the transition time is just a time for it for him just to sprint to the next station versus
yeah,
in those bigger competitions. All right, the GHD is all the way down the field. So you can't beat that guy the same way to the machine and
right,
keep that edge. He might actually be taller and jog a little bit ahead of you and get on it. So I feel like he does lose a lot of his advantages that the online gives him with just the spacing of the stuff. And those events are like in online stuff, you're going to get like short metcons, AMRAPs, stuff like that. Things that are maybe like, I don't want to say 100%, but like closer to traditional CrossFit
right.
versus at those in-person things, they're a little more elaborate. They're a little longer, or there's bigger transition pieces. And I think that might hurt him a little bit. And he's just not
Yeah.
suited for that. Do you think that's the case?
Yeah, no, exactly. I think it's tough to say because obviously he crushes those things when they come up, but I don't know because programming is so different that, you know, I think the assumption is that the fittest will make it to the games, but I don't necessarily know if that's always the case
Yeah. Well,
because of programming.
yeah, and with that on programming, uh, you could be really really good at our barbell club programming, and you just excel in it all the time because you've been in the system for so long, and it's like it changes, but it's kind of how we do things. Then you go to another barbell club and start training with them, and you're like, I can't even keep up with the team, you know.
Right.
So when someone like Colton is excelling at the open quarterfinals and online semifinals, that's all programmed by the same people with the same style and mindset. But if he goes to Syndicate or Mayhem, these are completely different types of programmers who they may not have biases that feed into Colton's skills and abilities. It's a really interesting thing.
Definitely.
And hey, they're taking 7 people, and I don't know what other big names, especially for the men, that like I would expect to be at the games. Although is Roman okay? All right, Roman is there. All right, I see.
Yeah, he qualified early. Well, there's like Patrick Vellner, who this is like his farewell season. He's like right on the bubble. I think he's number 7 for the men, so he would be the last spot if everything stays the same.
How does that work if he doesn't qualify? I guess your farewell season stops at online.
Yeah, I don't like his choice to even do this. Yeah, because he didn't
explain what he's doing. What is he doing?
He didn't compete at the games last year.
Yeah.
And then this year around the Open, he made a post talking about, he wants his like last memories of the CrossFit Games to like end on a better note. But like even when I saw that announcement, I was questioning like, how far will you make it? Like obviously he is good enough to be a games athlete, but I just thought with like the field that's going around, like there's a chance that your farewell tour doesn't even end well. And then let's say he didn't qualify or doesn't qualify through online semis. Is he just going to go like, all right, next year I'm not going to do the Open, or is he going to go like, all right, next year I'm going to try again for like a farewell season? So I guess the hope is that he makes it, because otherwise it looks bad, honestly.
One, if that was me, I couldn't imagine being like, well, I got to do my farewell season over again next year.
Yeah.
The move should have been do the Open, say, hey, I'm trying to reconnect with the CrossFit community and whatnot, and I just want to be back into it. We had, of course, Lazar passed away, and that affected me, but I've come to terms with everything, and I'm willing to forgive and not forget, but like I want to be involved in this. And then when you make it to the games, that's when you're like, hey, everybody, this is my last rodeo. Like I'm out after this, and leave your shoes out there, or whatever you're going to do. But I wouldn't have said it whenever he said it,
Yeah.
Because now we're in this kind of situation, which I wouldn't count him out. Of course, he has such experience underneath him and wisdom that he could, you would have thought he could have maybe edged out some people in person, but that's different. So now he's got to try to do it online. But I think he's smart enough to use that system to get through.
Yeah. A name that you don't see on here that also did not do online semis is Jon Koski.
Oh, that sucks. How come? Well, he just had a baby.
Well, so this is kind of a bigger thing. He went to Madrid and he tied for 3rd, which is the final qualifying spot. But because of like event placements when they had the tie break, he's the 4th. The reason that this is kind of news also is because so they do the leaderboard, let's say after the second to last event. And the way it's shaking out, if you're a veteran like Jon Koski, okay, this is where I have to place ahead of the other person to kind of put me in qualifying spot. He essentially does that, but what happens is that the leaderboard changes while the last event is going on due to appeals and scores changing. So the second to last event, there were double unders in it, and a lot of people had their judges miscounting, so maybe doing extra double unders here or there. There were also sandbag cleans.
For online? This is online?
No, this is in Madrid.
Oh, they're miscounting in person?
Yeah. So So what's happening is a lot of people put in appeals because they're doing way too many double unders. And from what I've been looking at, people lowered down the leaderboard. They were essentially going like, hey, we can't do anything about it. Your score is going to stay the same. I believe it is Callan Clements who got third. He also appealed, and they changed his score. So let's say he was in the sandbag cleans after, and he got 3 of them. They made his score 4 sandbag cleans, like one that he didn't even do. But how do you change the score?
I don't
So
know
then it bumps Callan Clements up the leaderboard. So if you're Yonkowski and you go, all right, I have to beat him by 1 spot or 2 spots, you go into the event, you're a veteran, you're like, I'm not going to kill myself. I'm going to, execute this the way that I need to. And then you finish and you go, perfect. I did exactly what I needed to be 1 point ahead of him, 2 points ahead of him. And then you realize later on that in the middle of the event, of the final event going on, the leaderboard changed. So now you needed to do another extra place. So then they end up tying. Yeah.
This is, it's dumb. I don't know. I don't know if other people like it. I think it's kind of dumb to be making changes in the middle of the event that's putting everybody in that heat at a disadvantage. That'd be like at a weightlifting meet. We know that you need 1 kilo to more to beat whoever it is we're competing against. And then while we're walking out to the lift, they actually get awarded a no lift that they had before that, and now you need 2 kilos, but we don't know that, and no one's going to inform us that the competition has changed.
Yeah.
That would, I want to say that would never happen in weightlifting. That's almost impossible, but it sounds ridiculous. And that's kind of what they did. And you can't put it on the athlete. It was like, well, he should full send it and just win the heat if you're the fittest. Because this is beyond that. This is stupidity in officiating. Yeah, in officiating and doing the paperwork for the meet. Boy, that sucks.
There are multiple parts of it of okay, you're also only awarding this appeal to somebody in a qualifying spot. It's almost like you're telling everybody else, well, your score doesn't matter. Yeah, we miscounted your double unders, but we're not going to award you anything else because it's not like you're in a qualifying spot. And then being like, oh, this guy's close. Let's change his and nobody else's. It's a little bit icky.
Yeah, that's like fixing the game. It's like, well, we want this guy to go. He sells T-shirts.
Literally, you look at the scores, and it's 2 points that changed it, and that's 1 spot in a competition like that. So,
I don't know if you know this. Do Mayhem, Legends, all these? Do they all use the same scoring system?
I believe so.
So it's like, all right, you're all required to have 10 events, and they're all worth X amount of points, and this is how you make adjustments. Because that seems like something that CrossFit should have. Hey, this is our competition software. Everything is like that. You don't get to make this part up. You just make in the X's and O's of the workout. Okay, so they're at least it's all done the same kind of.
Right.
Okay.
I've heard that the appeals process is can sometimes be different between events, but I think it's similar to, if people know football, a coach can throw a challenge flag, and essentially I think you get 2, but if your challenge is correct and it gets over, then you keep that challenge. Same thing with weightlifting, right? Where, you can play the challenge card, and if they overturn it, you get that challenge card back and can play it again.
I love how in weightlifting they're like, you get 1. We're not going to, because otherwise you'd be just throwing it every time you got a no lift.
But I think it's similar. They were saying for these type of events, you might get 4. And if you keep on getting those appeals granted to you, you keep them. But if it doesn't get granted, you lose that one. If it doesn't get granted, but obviously a lot of things are discretionary where they're like, you can't really tell.
Whose job is it to like, all right, you guys at my clipboard, all right, Miguel used 3 challenges, but he lost all of them and he has 1 left. I'm sure, I would hope that the computer does that somehow. Like I'd be interested to because I've seen weightlifting's computer software. I'd be interested to see what it looks like, whatever they use for CrossFit. Like, because they're clearly not using Excel spreadsheets and stuff anymore, right? I would hope not.
I would hope, but I don't know.
Like your formula is a little off, and all of a sudden Miguel's line and points are different. Like, it's got to be something where like it puts it in. Like, that's the great thing about, like, you've worked with the competition software for weightlifting. If something is out of bounds on the rules, it'll tell you. It'll just be like, nope, you can't do that, unless you override it. So there's got to be something like that. I would hope.
Yeah. But yeah, so Yonkowski made a post saying that, he went, I know you guys were maybe expecting to see my name on the online semifinals leaderboard, but I decided not to do it. I think he either runs an event also that like goes on around the same time as online semifinals. And like you said, last year he had, when we talked to him in person, like his wife was about to have a baby at the games last year. So he
could have left at any moment.
Yeah. So he said that he didn't want this year's game season to also be as hectic. So he made the decision to like not do online semis. He also made another point of like the classic, as we've all been saying, is just like the changing of qualification every single year makes it so hard to even want to do things, because you're like, there's no consistency. I don't know what I'm doing, or like what I should be getting ready for, or how, and running around here and there and all of these things.
And I think that it runs beyond the general philosophy of CrossFit and being ready for the unknown and unknowable. This is different. This is like, come on now, like sport. Like, there is a separation of sport and methodology to a point. If that is an excuse, it's just an excuse just to cover your tail, because this is not like planned out and like, hey, let's run this for a couple of years and have this be the same. Like, and I just don't know why they won't do it. Like, like, what does it look like in those meetings? Like, like who's talking, who's and whatnot, and then like, is everyone just like yes manning stuff? And that's got to be a part of it, right? Like no one's like speaking up and being like, hey, can we just have some stability here? Like, I don't know. I don't know how it happens behind closed doors.
I don't know if it's just at the end, everyone is unhappy with what happened, and they're just like, let's figure out something.
Yeah.
And I think maybe the hope is that every time they do it, they're like, and then we'll stick with this. But then they get to the end and they're like, I don't know if I like this result, so let's change it again. But yeah.
And it's like, all right, like, I think you got to iron out each piece and be like, all right, what is the open? What is its purpose? How does it function? Like, and then just stick with it. And like, all right, and what was the most successful parts of past opens, and like use those things, and just don't do the things that were successful. And then do the same thing with quarterfinals and etc. I think it can be done. I think I do know, or I imagine part of the problem is that everyone that's working on it is also working on other things. It's not like, like, all right, you're also, part of your job is affiliates and part of your job is this. So you just don't get to only spend time with the games. And then all of a sudden, I'm working on states periodically throughout the year, but then there does become a time where it's like, all right, now it's all in on states. And now it's like, all right, how did I want to fix that thing from so it's like, it's kind of like, I imagine like that a little bit. You get to it when it comes around and you have to make a decision.
Yeah. Another point that I wanted to put out there was, I do think that some, I guess, training camps or teams really executed this semifinals period really well. I think there are individuals who also did, but I was going to say, so for Training Think Tank, they had 4 elite women. All 4 of their elite women have qualified and won their semifinals. So the first one was Annika Greer, who went to Copa Sur. The next one was Hannah Black, who went to Rebel Renegade. Then there was Lydia Fish, who went to Syndicate. And then Gabby Magala, who went to Madrid. And I think an important thing there is that they also didn't like cross them and make them all compete at like the same one. I think it's a little bit easier when you have athletes, when you only have like 4 really that are in those qualifying positions. But to send them off to those and then each of them win it also, I think is really impressive.
It's super impressive, and it makes the resource allocation a lot easier. Like if you go to Copa Sur, all attention and everything that the team's got is for Annika now. And then, all right, Hannah, yours is next week. And instead of like being like, all right, got to get you both ready. And what if you're in a situation? What if you're in the classic Venus versus Serena Williams thing? It's like, all right, good luck to both of you, you know, like, because you're going to be going against each other. Why do that before the games? You're going to have to do that at the games, but why do that beforehand? You know, when we're just trying to get there. I think it's great.
And then also within that, I guess there's always mayhem as well. I think it makes it easier as well when you essentially have a hometown semifinal to start off also. So, I mean, they were able to get a few of their athletes straight off on that first one. Actually, they might have only gotten 1 man and 1 woman. So Paige Rogers and Roman Krennikov at Mayhem Classic. But they got other athletes throughout for other things, and their team is through, of course. But then there's also Proven, who they kind of mix up their athletes a lot, but I think they have maybe the largest number of athletes that are at that high level.
This is Tia's team, right?
Yep. So like, and there a lot of them are Australian, of course. So like you have Torian Pro, where Ricky Garrard and Jay Crouch are both proven athletes. And they went 1 and 2, but I think they won like home court advantage, and then also they, I think, know that they're good enough to make it through, even if they like, if you have 3 spots and they're like, we're going to get 2 of them. I think they're pretty confident there.
And I think the home court advantage thing is fine because online semifinals, full home court advantage. So that actually kind of links up a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, I think depending on who you were, and, you know, you kind of had to game it correctly. Like Legends, the second semifinal only took 2 spots, and Dallin Pepper and James Sprague went there. None of the other like really top guys went. And I think that was a smart decision because like if you're Jason Hopper and you know that there's 2 spots, why are you going to go into a big battle with Dallin Pepper and James Sprague so early in the season?
Yeah.
You might as well go to French and then win.
I wouldn't like, you can probably like see some stuff just watching it, but I wouldn't want them to be like, especially if I'm the defending champ, be like, they're getting a feel for me out on the floor, you know, too close to the games. And then they might be able to do something with that. All right, he struggled on those lunges, so I'm going to keep an eye on that. Like, it's better to keep them guessing, you know.
Yeah.
And plus, since they're all bros, that feels like it'd be distracting too.
Yeah.
You know.
I think so.
Huh. Well, it looks like the appropriate people are making it all through it. I would hope that they would iron things out, you know, to make life easier for athletes and teams and people following the sport in the future. For the online semifinals, did you want to look at the workouts?
Yeah, we can. I think the biggest thing though that I've seen from people talk about is that this technically is the biggest semifinal. Like you
Oh,
get 7
yeah,
spots each, but
yeah,
people couldn't watch it live. In
that's
kind of
true.
like, what's the play there? Like, wouldn't you want this to be like a huge event where everyone can watch this kind of, or at least do like, hey, workout one, you have until now to submit it. So then
Yeah,
everyone can watch it after workout one is done.
stitch them all
Um,
together.
right. But they were
I don't
saying
like
like
what they should do is because all right, how many people are competing?
a lot.
Oh, okay, all right, never mind then.
It's
Like
essentially
I
like everyone who made it past quarterfinals. So I think like top 10% who didn't get seated in in-person
oh
qualifiers. So like you
okay
still get like kind of not
that
bottom, but like yeah.
that sounds like too much. Like James McDermott should not be in the mix if somehow
Right.
I
Yeah.
made it through the quarterfinals and I'm like, well, I'm not going to travel. I'll just wait for the online. It's like no, I do. I thought in my head it was just like somehow a top 7 or something. I would almost maybe, and I don't know how fair this is. I would almost maybe do this as like an invite, like based on previous leaderboards, the quarterfinals, the Open,
Yeah.
last year's games. Like if you went to last year's games, and I guess maybe if you placed a certain high, I'd be like, all right, you're invited to this. You clearly
Yeah.
have made it. So anyone who's been to the games and then fill it in, and that way you could do 7 and 7. All right, the men go at noon. They all have to tune in, just like when they did the virtual
Right.
online games or something like that, where Matt Frazier did Elevated Fran.
Yeah.
So do it like that, and then maybe CrossFit only has they can send you the judges. So all right, these are CrossFit judges, and you just got to send 14 of them out into the world. Or find your level 1 staff. Yeah, that's what I thought was happening, or
No, but
with
I
the
think
seven
again,
people, with 7 people.
that's a flaw in the programming. And people were saying, so like the way that invites to syndicate worked, you essentially only got invited to syndicate based on your seating in quarterfinals. So it was an incentive to do well in quarterfinals because let's say 50 people applied to go to syndicate. They're only going to take 30 of those people and they're doing it by order of quarterfinals.
Yeah.
And then I think some people got through, like some guy Ty Jenkins, who qualified through syndicate. He only got invited to syndicate because I'm not sure if he won it last year or he at least qualified through it last year. So he wouldn't have got a spot because I think he was like 145th person after quarterfinals.
Mm-hmm.
So he only got an invite for in person because he won it last year. But otherwise, he would have been forced to only do online qualifiers.
So we could have done it this way with like have a cut. Like everyone who's already qualified is eliminated from the field for quarterfinals, and then you just go down top 10. Like put a line there. That way, whoever 11 through 15 is, I really find it hard to believe if you're 15th in quarterfinals after all those people are removed, which means you are really further down.
Right.
You're not going to do anything at the games. You're like just.
Well,
I would imagine
that was the whole thing in why people were saying that the workouts in the Open and again in quarterfinals weren't good tests. Because, like I said, Ty Jenkins qualified through syndicate. So he went to an in-person only because he won syndicate last year. That's the only reason he even got an invite to syndicate. But he was 145th in quarterfinals. So he wouldn't have been invited to any other in-person event. But he was easily able to qualify above Colton Mertens and other people who got higher than him in quarterfinals. And again, it's like is it because the workouts in quarterfinals weren't good enough to really show who the fittest are?
Well, I think we talked about this a bunch of shows ago. A lot of those quarterfinal workouts felt like they would have been amazing open workouts.
Right.
Just like shuffle them over. And then the next stage should have been like crazy harder. Like it's like, hey, handstand walk into freestanding handstand push-up. You don't got it? Guess you're not the fittest in the world. Thanks for playing. You know, like I don't know why they made it so watered down on those early two stages. Or especially the open. You know, I think there is a way to do it where the workouts are like substantial, and then just make the scaling of it make sense. How is this kind of crazy that the organization that has made modifying and scaling like a thing, you know, and like is so heavy on it, almost struggled with it in the open this year on like maybe that they're like, well, we got to have inclusive workouts. It's like, but that's never been the thing. It's always been program for the fittest, scale for the rest. So how can you not take the squat, clean, and bar muscle up workout and then also pair it with something that everybody's going to be able to do in the open? Your grandma, to everybody. I just don't understand where the disconnect was there. I'm like, well, it's got to be just lunging. It's got to be moves everybody can do. So I don't know. What's going on here, Miguel?
Again, I think it's their idea. I think it comes from the idea that we will have the most fit people at the games no matter what we program. Mm-hmm. And I think maybe the fittest of the fit will still qualify, but I don't know if the rest of the field, like once you leave top 5, top 10, I think now when you're doing online the way that you're doing it, you're making it a little bit watered down.
Yeah.
Where you're not sure that you might miss out on some people, or some people might sneak in there that maybe aren't that good. And I mean, we'll see when we get to the games, like when we look at who's 25 to 30 in the games, those last 5 spots, we'll see how far away from the rest of the field they actually are, and if they really are meant to be with the rest of the crowd.
Like, we got to go back to the old days where it's like movement number 1, double unders. You do them or you don't, you know, and you like, we got to get back to that, like harder standard and harder programming. And like, you know, I think if you had like that squat, clean, bar muscle up workout as open workout number 1, you know, even, I think it's a great test. I think it's going to weed out a lot of people. I think it's going to get the people you want to finish well. And you could have modified it so that everybody can still play, kind of a deal. You could, I can't remember the order of the exercises, and I think you could attack it any way you wanted. But if you're concerned about people not doing the open because they're like, oh, well, I can't do double under, so I'm not going to even pay the $20, which at some point, like, that is a BS statement. At some point, you got to let those people go.
Yeah.
Don't placate to them, because they're going to bring the rest of it down. Like, you're watering it down to their level. The people that won't spend their $20, look, they're that same person. They may not even come back next. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's like having a gym and 2 people dislike the programming. And so in order to keep their membership, you change the programming. Now everybody else is upset. But you made those 2 squeaky wheels happy, you know, and everyone else that doesn't like to complain or isn't going to complain, they'll just cancel their membership and leave over time. And they'll never tell you that it was because of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see once this shakes out. How do you feel about the 20 events that they're doing for the 20th anniversary?
I saw a lot of news coming out with this. I think it's cool. You know, 20 events. Let's do it. I'm nervous in that there's so much that needs to be programmed that it's like there's clearly going to be the right way to do this, and because it's the 20th anniversary and there's like so much put on it, people are going to dissect the shit out of this programming the way they have never before, and everyone and their mother is going to have an opinion on what those 20 workouts should have been. Oh, you should have done this, should have done that. And I think CrossFit needs to take that to heart. I think the normal F everybody, we'll do what we want, we know best, no one's giving feedback, we're in a little bubble here. I really think they need to listen to what people are saying, and I really think that they need to look at what they're doing, and like they don't have to be creative for creative's sake, they don't have to be gimmicky, but they can't just be throwaway or run of the mill or phoned in or whatever. Like there are so many like epic classic CrossFit Games workouts. We need 20 of those.
Yeah.
We otherwise it's kind of for nothing, and it's like I don't want to see because it's the 20th year, I don't want to see it fall on its face, you know, like and there will be a lot of extra scrutiny, I think, because it's year 20.
Yeah.
I think the hopper idea is awesome. I'm bringing the hopper back, a little thread of methodology into the programming, and I think that's something that that it's been missing at the games, on like workouts programmed without having the methodology behind it backed and spoken to the audience and stuff like that. And even saying things like, hey, you know, if you remember your level 1 where they were talking about that, well, that's this in action right now, you know, stuff like that. I do think that that would be one way to not have the games be so separate from the methodologies part of it, because they kind of are two split companies. You could have two companies in one. You have your IP for the methodology, and then you have the games, which is, I think you could find some cohesiveness there. So I'm hoping to see that. I'm like, make an awesome video about what the hopper is and the hopper method and how CrossFit utilizes it in our programming and training, how that's good for you, for your general fitness and things like that. And then you can't blow this one. It can't be the shittiest workout ever. It has to be awesome, you know. So whatever you pull out of that hopper, I think Dave Castro said that he's going to hand it off to someone else to do the programming with. They have to deliver on that workout. And
I would say a big thing there, make sure the judges know what the options are before you just pick and go like, all right, get ready to judge this workout where we're not clear on what the standards are and the judges aren't clear on what the standards are. And I think there could be a mess there.
And the score sheets, you got to make score sheets now and all that stuff.
My big thing is that I think it'll go down in history as the Albany games as the quote unquote safe games.
I can see that.
Which was needed. But I think an important thing to note in last year's games, nobody withdrew or was like medically had to be out of the games for like one of the first times ever. Like no cuts, nobody dropped out. But now when you do 20 events in Carson, heat and all of this, and are people ready for 20 events depending on what they're going to be? Are we going to see, and is that what we want? I mean, to a level of like, do we want it so difficult that maybe some people can't do it? But again, with the scrutiny of the other levels to get to the games, is it going to make it seem like, oh, these people were never meant to be at the games in the first place? Or is it just the 20 events knock them out?
I think I hope it's a combo, kind of, you know, like I think the 20 events is going to challenge even the top of the top. Like, I think this will be an incredibly hard games, and whoever wins it, what an accomplishment. Because even when they only have like 12 events or whatever it is, it's a lot to recover from. So these extra 8 or so events is massive. And there's going to be some overlap. I don't think people should complain on like, we're doing pull-ups again. It's like, hey, do you want do you want other things like throwing a softball, or are we going to do chest bar pull-ups now? And we did strict pull-ups earlier. Like there's a way to make it work and test things differently. So I think people, I think people who just, they don't really have a whole lot to talk about will harp on that. They're like, look at that, they did squatting too much and whatnot. I was like, they should be able to handle this. This is fine. I do think with the 20 events, I think it'll be hard. So that'll be hard one way, but I still think that the workouts themselves, I think they need to program and go for the throat. I wouldn't even be concerned with like the bottom 10 or whatnot who aren't going to finish maybe X percentage of the workouts. I think that's expected anyways at whatever games you're going to do. So I think you just kind of have to ignore that part and just like put people like not do the safe games, And I think just by nature of the number of events, we'll see people withdraw eventually if they can't handle it. But I think that the workouts should be hard enough that is also a reason why eventually someone's like, my shoulders are shot. I gotta bow out.
And what do you think about like time domains? Like that's another like criticism within like semifinals and the open is that a lot of the time frames, like we speak in general CrossFit programming and like, okay, these are the different sections. And do we think with 20 events, I know that they're going to do like probably a couple, 2 like double workouts where it's like, you're going to go down the field and that's going to be one score at this speed. Then you're going to rest for 2 minutes and it's going to be another score coming back this way. And do we think that they're going to have to like fill it up with like sprinty events, like under 15 minutes for majority of them? Or do we think like we'll get another like marathon row in there or something?
I think one, to keep it like, I think it's since the 20th games, I think we should expect at least 3, maybe more retest from past games. I wouldn't even be surprised if past games finals events came up and it's like, that's event 3. That's event 3 this year, like the final from that year.
I could see them like ending each day with an old games workout that's like well known.
Yeah. So I think that would help too, because you could kind of like pick your time domains that you already know work and everything. I do think you should have a little more redliney sprinting stuff in there instead of just like the typical 10 to 15 minute glycolytic type thing. I think you have to explore the ends a little more because you already know you're going to get like 5 or 6 or more mid range there. But you could probably even go with obscure things too. Like you could do more like max out type of stuff. Yeah. You could do more like longer things. Like if you brought back the biking that one year, it was a special bike.
The cyclocross.
Yeah. If you brought that, the one where Justin Medeiros, I think, got in like a shovey match with Roman Krenikov. Something happened there with someone's bike, or like I remember drama that one. So like I think you could do longer workouts like that and different types of skills that maybe we haven't seen before. I think would be cool. I do hope that Boz is involved because like Boz had really unique and I guess exciting for another word, like type of events where it's like they were outside of the box. They weren't like so narrow. Like I really loved the thing where he did with Jackie, where it's like, if you don't hit the 1K in under 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes, you're eliminated right away. I'd like to see more of that. Like I'd like to see more barriers where it's like, if you're not even good enough, you don't get to do the rest of the workout. Yeah. I think that would be a cool way to modulate some of the intensities where it's like, oh, I have to row hard right now and then go do the rest of it. I'd like to see that stuff. I love the P-bar traverse that he had done. The sandbag, like that was a great games. So I do hope that some of that stuff makes it in too, because I think you could vary up the stimulus with more obstacles on like you have to earn your right to complete the next step type of a deal. Like if you don't finish Fran in under 2:15, then you don't get to go on the long 5K run after it, which means you lose out on those points, right? You would be like, all right, you didn't get the points for here. Like I things that would deliver devastating blows in the scoring, but since there's also so many events, maybe you could make it back.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Is that even possible? Like if like,
yeah, we'll see. Have you also seen the criticism that Boz and Dave no longer know time domains accurately?
No. Well,
so they've been on like Boz has been on like podcasts for like online semifinals and saying like they've been going through workouts, and he goes like, yeah, I think, you know, the winning score will be like under 9 minutes or something. And then they like show a clip of the boys interrupted, and they're talking, they're like, yeah, the person who's going to win this is going to be under 7 minutes or something along those lines, where the athletes have a better idea of like how long, like when we do our class workouts and we go, this should take you this amount of time, this should take you this amount of time. It's seeming like Dave and Boz aren't aware of how good the field is anymore. Maybe because of the people that they have demo obviously aren't like elite games athletes. So maybe there's they're starting to have like a disconnect in like what they're capable of. Because it seems like they've just been off with their time domains where the games, like they did the ones where it's like most people won't finish, and they were close with some of those, but yeah, it seems like they've been kind of off with that.
Yeah, I can see that happening, and I think it's one of those things where, and I don't know their lives, I'm just speculating here, but I do know a phenomena that happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to many other coaches. Let's say you right now, you're training all the time. You're very in tune with what training feels like. But then you open up your own affiliate, Porter's CrossFit or whatever it's going to be, right? CrossFit Porter. That sounds pretty cool. So you open up this gym, and now all your time is devoted to other things. And you start to get a little out of shape. You're doing the programming, you're doing the memberships, you're getting the equipment, you're dealing with everyone's bullshit, all this stuff. And you're just trying to have a life. And then all of a sudden you start to get like so far out, like you were at the shoreline and now you're just so far out to sea that you can barely see the island anymore. And all your members are over there. So they're always there like doing stuff. And you're just like, now you're writing the workouts and you're like, yeah, they should be able to do this. They should be able to do that, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, they don't finish it, or it's too hard, or it's not enough. And you're like, really, you couldn't do that, or blah, blah. It happens, you know. So I can see that with like maybe, you know, I know Dave still works out. I don't follow Boz enough to know, but I imagine he still does CrossFit. But also, there's plenty of times where like I'll go to work out and I'll be like, you know what, like this is going to be such a light day. Like I'm so tired. I have so many things to do, and you just scale the heck out of your own workout. So at least you did something. And then there's many ways you can start to lose touch with what the stimulus should be, right? Or the stimulus up to where you were, right? Like for me, I only ever snatched 87 kilos. So like I know what that feels like. So I have to try to take what that felt like. And then I do know the hard training to get up to it. So I can relate on that. I'm like, that's going to be pretty much the same for everybody. Like, oh yeah, I know this period sucks, all that stuff. But I don't know what it's like when you have 100 in your hands and psychologically what you're going through, things like that.
Right.
I have a good idea and I can offer a lot of advice, but there is something to be said on like, all right, you know, I like my understanding of what that is actually going to feel like is a little different. So I just think it happens at all levels. And the more in depth you go with one thing, you kind of have to start to be removed from the other. The more you start to go administrative and all that other stuff in coaching, it's going to take away from your athlete side. And that's probably what's happening here. Like Dave Castro definitely works out. I'm sure he gets after it a lot and goes hard. But I bet you there's a lot of workouts where he's an older guy now. You know, he's got a family and kids. I bet you he does a lot of workouts.
Can't hear you.
Okay.
Yep, you're good.
Oh, okay. And earphone. Say something.
Can you hear me?
All right, I can now. Oh,
Okay,
how
cool.
annoying. All of a sudden, well, it let me back in when I just clicked the link, and then I couldn't add myself back into this part because I had to sign in. And then it's like, hey, do all the two-factor stuff again.
Right.
I am so over two-factor on every little thing I have to do at any time. It's crazy. All right. Anyways, so that's how I can see it happening. And I imagine so, like you said too, they also don't, they're not around the fiber. I would just be like, hey, Rich Froning, test this out for me. Keep your mouth shut, you know, like, or something like that. Have someone like that. I don't know.
I don't even know if that would translate well. Like, I'm not sure who you can grab. I always wondered that when, like, they have their demo people, and I'm like, they're not. Even, like, demo team at the games is, like, people who didn't qualify for the games. So it's like, are you then knocking down some, like, a minute, 30 seconds for each event, or, you know?
See, I would, one thing that I would want to do if I had to do all this stuff is I would have a binder that has all the past games events in it, and like maybe categorize them, like here's our strengths, different time domains, and then have with that the top ever scores up to like
Right.
the top 10, and then be like, all right, Boz, let's look at this. All right, we got this 5 round workout of all this stuff. It's similar to this workout. We want it to be this time frame. Do we think this lines, and like kind of like go off of the history you have a little bit.
Right. And then are
I
you like
yeah.
scaling up to go like, hey, 3 years have passed. The field is getting exponentially better every year. Like, I mean, people are figuring out ways to get faster all the time.
Yeah.
So I wonder if they do like repeat some of those like final gains workouts when they put in like, oh, Heat 2 crushed Tia's time from 5 years ago. Like that's
They
not even the
should.
final heat. Like, yeah. So I wonder if that's what they're doing, or if they're just like, this was the top time. This is how fast athletes can do 10 snatches, or if they're like I would break down film, honestly, on like what I'm seeing in semifinals, what I'm seeing in the open, all those videos, and I'm going, James Sprague is a taller athlete. He can do snatches at 95 in this time, and he's tall. So let's see how fast he can do it versus like Colton Mertens, and then get the like average of these times and figure out off of that. Or yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
sure what they're doing, but yeah,
Well, no,
it'll be
you're right.
interesting.
Like there is so much video out there of these guys doing so many competitions and so many workouts in their gyms. I think you should be using that data and looking at those videos and like seeing what people can do. And also, this should be a function of the open and quarterfinals, like
Right.
especially the open. Like, I imagine if you had back when you had 5 workouts, you're like, okay, that's what the top guys are doing for thrusters. Now we know. Now we can kind of
Yep.
figure out these other things. So I don't know if they're using the data that they do have that would help with all of this, or if they're just like, here's the whiteboard, write it up. What do you think? All right, this, and then
Right.
have someone test. I kind of feel like that might be more because
Yeah.
again, they're not. I don't think they're 100% dedicated. That's all they're doing, and it
Yeah.
should be. It should be. It's like, okay, you're the director of sport. You're the assistant director of sport. Here's your team. You don't have to answer emails on affiliates. You don't have to do all this other stuff. You guys are
Right.
literally working year round on the games. So and you should be planning the open and other stages in the fall after the season. Like that's
Yep.
what you're doing. And then you implement it. And then you go on, you use that data for the next stage. And you could even have a rough draft of all the workouts all the way through to the games. And then you start to tweak things and fine tune it. I kind of think like, again, I don't know. This is only speculation. All right, I'll be at the ranch on this weekend. I don't got anything else to do. Let me tinker with a bunch of workouts. What are some creative ideas? And I'll write this down and whatnot. And then we try it. And then I call Rogue, and we're like, hey, can you make this thing? And we did. Do you think that's how I kind of feel like that's maybe
Yeah.
closer to how it is
Yeah.
versus how it could be? I mean, heck, if CrossFit had the money, let's say I was the director of the games, right? And I had a ranch and all that stuff. All right, and we have the money. I have like, and this is so big of a thing. I have like dorms on my ranch. I'm like, hey, all right, part of the job is you're going to come live here for 3 months, and this is what we're doing every day. Like, all right, we
Yeah.
go out there, like where we're measuring things out. All right, you handstand walk across it. We watch videos. We watch this. Like, imagine if you had those resources and you devoted that time to test across the whole thing that you could produce.
Yeah.
Because the hard thing about CrossFit programming is creating so many unique, different workouts. It's insane,
Yeah.
So you would need to put in some serious time. And I feel like when Boz ran the games, I feel like he put in different time than what was like happening recently,
Yeah.
if that made sense. It really seemed like it had a mix of creativity and thought through and a lot of other things that I feel weren't the same when Dave came back.
Right.
And I do think that Dave being away, the way he was put away, I think he changed after that a little bit,
Yeah.
I heard a rumor that this could be his last year. If I was him, like like look where I am with the state championships. Like next year will be my last year. I'm like, great. I'm so great to be happy to move on to other things and not have this be my responsibility for forever. If I was Dave doing this for 20 years, I would honestly be like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, let me go out on a high note, and like, there it is. There's the little thing on my legacy, and I can move on from it. I'd be ready to be done if I was him.
Right.
I don't know. How would you be if you were in that for 20 years?
Yeah. I mean, and this is like similar to the Pat Vellner thing. It's like, if this is your last one, make it worth it. And again, don't even say anything until you're sure that you're done. And I would finish the event and then announce it.
I could see on the final day, things are going so well. Everyone's so happy. It's a neck and neck competition. It could be during the award ceremony. It could be at the beginning of the last day. Hey, everybody, just letting you know, this is my last year. I'm done. You know, and then CrossFit should have already had the most epic video send off thing. There should be a thing that he doesn't even know about where they're going to come up and they're going to give him like a belt or something. Like, there should be something if it's well thought out like that.
Yeah.
And I think that would be a nice note. And I think that would help everybody with this thing. Like, we have to hear it from him. I think doing it at the games makes sense. I think CrossFit honoring him at the games, why not do it? And then it's done, you know. And you don't even have to announce who the successor is unless you know that. And I think it might be more fun to not announce that and let that kind of be all the talking heads are like, you know, button heads over on who it should be, who it will be, all that stuff, because that just creates excitement in the ecosystem of the games.
Right.
So sometimes I think withholding information that you already know the answer to, just to let them take the ball and roll with it, I think is a good idea too.
Yeah.
But I do think Dave deserves his flowers at the games. I don't know. It almost seems weird if he would continue after this, you know, because 20 is such a nice number to finish it on. What the 22nd CrossFit Games was my last one, you know. What do you think about all that?
Yeah, and I think it might be your last opportunity to go out on your own terms. Like, you already got outed at one point. So just know that, like, it could happen again. Like, we don't know where the sport's going in 3-4 years, especially like we're saying, like, just with the way that things are changing. Like, we talked about Iceland, like, things can go in flows. Like, we don't know who's going to pick up in the next 3 years. We don't know what the sport's really going to look like. Like, 20 years is a perfect time to say, like, it's back at the ranch also. Like, there is no better time than now.
Oh my God. Yeah. And you're bringing back the hopper. I did hear a rumor that the person that they could hand off the hopper exercises to make a workout would be Greg Glassman. And I do think that would be like, who else would you give? Who else would you have? Like, all right. And Boz programmed that one. I think if since it's the 20th games, it's almost like the final note in both of their caps, you know, on it. Because I don't think Greg Glassman's coming back to CrossFit. I think he said he's not interested in that. But I do think it would be like a closure thing, because all things aside, there's kind of like a rift in the community on like how you feel about Greg versus how other people feel about Greg. I think this could be closure moments on a lot of things. I don't think that there's a more perfect person to have to do it. And then you would want to see him succeed at it. It's like, hey, the guy that gave us Fran and all those other classics gives us one more, and then that's it. I think that would be a nice way to kind of cap off in the entire era of Glassman, Castro, everything. And now we are truly onto the next. And that doesn't mean that Dave Castro's quitting CrossFit. I think the plan would be for him to move on to another component of it, whether that be education or affiliates, which it makes sense. I think you need someone like him to man those things, because they are so much more important than the games are. You know, like, we're talking all about the games here, but it's like a teeny tiny bit of importance compared to the affiliates and the methodology. So What do you think about that? Do you think would you pick anyone else other than Greg Glassman to program that workout?
For sure. But I'm not the biggest fan. But no, I do think that you're right though, with like, no matter how you feel, I think the closure thing, because I do think it is like, yeah, you guys do it. Spin the wheel at the same time if you have to.
Yeah.
Like get like Nicole
Hand
in
in
there
hand.
too. Yeah, and just like
Yeah.
have the like three of them do it and then be like, yep, this is the chapter. Like, not to say like nobody wants to see them after that, but like then it's like, don't, I think things too is like be out and then like really be out instead of like, yeah, I'm gone from the thing. I'm going to make comments on podcasts and like whatever. It's like, no, like this is your opportunity to do something with it and be like, chapter done, chapter closed, clean cut.
Yeah.
And I think that would actually be cool to just be like, wow, yeah, final moment there.
Yeah. I like your idea. I would let them each do a spin and a pull.
Yeah.
I think that would be super. I think that would be super cool. All right, Nicole's picking ball number 2, and it's thrusters. Like
Yeah.
I do think that would be that would be cool. So yeah, and so it's just with this games, like everything we're saying, they have so much opportunity. There's everyone right now is doing exactly what we're doing, brainstorming all the cool shit. It's kind of like when you know that, like, all right, they're gonna finally make that X-Men movie, and we're all like, please put them in the original costumes, please do this.
Yeah.
And then they do something else because some studio exec is like, well, I didn't think my grandkids would like it, or blah blah. And it's like, you ruin this opportunity. The perfect example would be the new Star Wars. You got Carrie Fisher back, you got Harrison Ford back, you got Mark Hamill back, you got the original people back, and you didn't put them all in a scene together. That's insane to make a Star Wars and not get the original trio back together. And then unfortunately, now Carrie Fisher passed, and that you will never have that opportunity again.
Right.
This is another example of that. Regardless of how you feel about him, none of this is happening. None of us have the opportunities we have without Greg Glassman. So it's like you have to at least give him that. Like I have people I feel certain ways about in my life, but I wouldn't have what I have without them. So I'm so thankful for that. So to get him back in would be such a missed opportunity. Especially imagine if the dude, God forbid, passes away within the next year, now everyone's going to be like, you fucked up. Like you should. Even people who didn't like him will then say, why didn't you get Greg to come and like, and then you're like, I thought you hated him. Like, well, yeah, but like you should have you'll never have this opportunity again, so it's like last year with Ozzy Osbourne. It's like, so glad you guys did that last concert because he died 2 weeks after it. Yeah. So it's like, I'm sure there was a point where they were like, maybe we won't do it, and then they did it. And it's like, all right, you got it in just in time. You never know.
Yeah.
So I hope it all goes down that way. Like I really hope that CrossFit opens its ears to the community speak. What do the fans want? Just give us what we want. Like, it's just like with the movies. Why can't you do it? Like in Deadpool, when Wolverine came out in the yellow suit, even if the movie had it, it's like you were just like, finally, like, but it doesn't make sense. Why did we have to wait 25 years for that to happen? The new fans you were trying to get would have loved it just as much as those of us that came from the comics and stuff. It almost feels like you have a vendetta against the OG fans in a lot of these things. And maybe they do. But I hope CrossFit doesn't. Like, give us classic CrossFit, give us hard CrossFit, give us people wiping out and failing. Don't play it safe. Have the workouts make sense. Put a lot of thought into it. And I think there's so many other things you could do for the 20 years. I would hope to see almost recaps of some years on I think bringing back past champions and celebrating them. It is kind of a shame that the 5-time fittest man in the world almost seemingly doesn't want to have anything to do with CrossFit. Like, that kind of sucks too. I wish Matt Frazier would be there and then use him put a mic on him and have him interview athletes after or something.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's so many things you could do, but of course, relationships and everything, it's a shame. What do you think about that part? Like past champions and bringing in some people to fill in some roles, or have them announce workouts. Like, hey, here's Graham Holberg, or whoever. Here's the first women's CrossFit Games champion. She's about to do this, and tell you this, or the demo team is all legends, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's like a relationship thing. Like, I don't know if Annie Thorisdottir would come back, honestly. But yeah, ideally, I think the whole thing, I mean, even going from semifinals to the games, is like everybody wants it. Like, I don't think people are rooting against you ever. And I feel like sometimes CrossFit acts like people are, but we're like, no, we just want like a good product. We want you to succeed. We just want you to do it well. And we're going to criticize if it's not done well. But if it is done well, we will congratulate you and be happy for that.
There are people making a career off of criticizing you. It doesn't mean that they don't love you. They do.
Right.
But this is the character, the role that they're playing in the community. And it's also the environment you set up. It's what Greg Glassman said right in the beginning. It's open source. I'm not going to tell you what to do in your gym. I'm not going to tell you what to do in your videos. Like, do what you want. That contrarian mindset. We all still do that, but it's funny. Now people get upset when people do that. So it's like, it's let them do it. That's why if you're doing what you need to do, they'll have less to complain about.
Yeah. Yep.
Are there any, do you have a list of past games, workouts that you would like to see pop up?
Not specifically. I was thinking about this though. If you remember the Chaos event.
Yeah.
I want something like that again. Obviously, you can't really replicate it because the whole point was that they didn't know. But I want another event like that. I think that was cool, where it was kind of just like, you're going out, do reps of this. You don't know how many you're doing. You can't share it with the next group or whatever. They make it like 2 quick heats. Make sure that nobody else can see it. Like, I think something like that would be really cool again. But yeah, I do think that they'll probably bring back some, like the Fibonacci final.
Yep.
And like maybe like Atalanta. I don't know if they'll bring back Atalanta, actually. That tore up a lot.
Sean Woodland was put that one in the box. That one's in the box. Never do it again. Murph and I make fun of that one all the time because he kept saying, let's put it in the box and like, don't do this one at your affiliate and stuff like that. And it's like, all right, dude, stop. It was just so ridiculous, those comments.
Yeah. I think they will repeat a lot, and I think they should. Because I think that's really cool. I love the ranch run into the deadlift and going opposite order. So slowest runner, you're the first one up in the ladder. Something like that, I think would be cool again.
Do you bring back yet again the first ever games workout? Like, you're like, hey, that's workout number 1. We're doing the OG hopper thing that came out.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I think you have 20 events. You have so much to do. What I wouldn't want to see is like a bunch of random skills. I've heard some conversation on this where it's like, all right, they're all like 50 points, and it's just like let's go through the 10 general components of fitness and like let's test balance. Who can balance on this rope for the longest? Like, I don't want to see stuff like that. Like, let's do
nothing
workouts
that'll embarrass us on CBS or ESPN, where people are like, oh, this is what you guys do.
I do think it would be cool if they somehow implemented one of the events one of these years. Maybe it wasn't even in the games series. Did an event where they had to shoot, and they had the erg gun thing. I just think because Castro's so into shooting and stuff like that, and there are competitions that pair fitness and also shooting, where you have to like run a mile and go under obstacles and then still hit the target. I think that would be cool to do. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that. That would be totally unique, and that would be a cool way to test accuracy in like a different way other than like, I guess, just wall balls and double unders and handstand walking, which you're already going to do all that stuff. Yeah. Well, maybe what we could do is in a future podcast, a little closer to games, we'll each do our top 5 that we hope this returns. Type of a thing. I do think a workout's being announced today. Did CrossFit put that on their Instagram? Let me CrossFit Games. Oh wait, I'm not even on their page. There we go. July 22nd. Oh no, that's individual competition. Tickets on sale now. Lydia Fish with her fish head thing. Is she selling those? She should be.
No, I think they're just regular Nemo fishes.
Oh, really? Wait, that's Nemo?
Yeah, just the clownfish. Yeah.
Nice. Okay, I thought I saw something with. Let's look on Dave Castro's. Castro. Oh, here it is. Event announcement. Oh no, that was the Hopper. Maybe that's what I saw. Because now I'm seeing on his thing, 20 events, event. All right, I might have just saw that pop up in my feed again and thought that there was another event coming up. So okay, so yeah, we should do that. We'll make our wish list of what we would hope throughout the years pops up, and then we can talk about where we would place them. And look at that, that's still only 10 workouts.
Right.
20 workouts is a lot. It's a lot. That's crazy. Do you think that they're going to swim?
Oh yeah, they already announced that they have a pool workout.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all right. They haven't announced what it is, but they said they're back in the pool.
All right, I think that's the most appropriate venue. I think we still need space before open water swimming, but we do eventually have to get it swimming back. So I think it makes sense. Okay. And they're not going to go to the ranch to work out. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I think bad idea. Don't bring back the workouts that had to be scrapped from 2024 or other years. Oh. Like the banger workout with don't bring it back. It was a terrible workout to begin with. It was. So don't put that in there. Don't finish the dream on that one. I think they had to skip Amanda one year.
Maybe. Yeah.
Amanda 45 or something. I think you could probably bring that back. Amanda itself has games significance because she competed at the games and then passed. So I do think if you were going to bring one back, I think that would be one that would be completely okay. And it's not a bad workout. But yeah, I would scrap that other one for sure. And don't bring back anything with the hammer. I think we don't need to do that.
It never was that good, and there's just too much room for error in just each lane, it being even. How are you going to grease it properly? And if you're going to, there's too much variability in that.
Yeah. Let's do CrossFit. I do think there's something to be said that almost every workout that they do should be able to be repeatable in the affiliate.
Yeah.
At least an affiliate version of it, which that's one where you can't. I guess we could get close by just hitting tires with a sledgehammer, and we do have a bunch of sledgehammers. But I just I think there should be something that should be repeatable in a pretty easy way.
Like the snail thing, if you remember that.
Yeah.
So things like that, but again, you can replicate something like that, maybe not to that scale, but you can do something like that, like a heavy push or even a carry. I think they had those the stones that are in Scotland. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
They did something with that before where I think they could do like stuff like that again too.
Yeah, for the snails, like, all right, everybody, we're meeting at McDonald's farm. You know, it's 5 miles away from the gym, and they're gonna let us push hay bales. You know, like, it'd be the closest we could get to it. Boy, would it be hard. Like that snail looks really, really hard. And I think it's one of those things where it's like, it's one of those exercises where like everybody's up to like try, and then you're like, you start to push into it, and you're like, no, I have to be able to budget. And then you don't want to be in that situation where you can't budget. And then when you do, you don't realize how it just slowly destroys your triceps and upper body, and then it bleeds down into your core. But you can also seemingly keep pushing it, and you don't want to stop it because you know how hard it is to get it going again. That'd be cool. The pig's got to make a return.
Yeah.
Maybe even that workout, pigs and rope climbs. The workout that kind of cost Matt Frazier his first games. He might be a 6-time champion had it not been for that one. Well, I think we don't have to go through the semifinal workouts, but I guess it's completing its purpose for this year. It's going to get us people, but we don't know. We have to wait till the end of the month to find out who's.
I'm sure they'll announce it. I think they have until they were like, wait until just in case. But I think if things shake out earlier, that they'll announce it earlier.
I have seen some things that Hiller put up about people filming. They're like, all right, so I don't understand how you could be someone at this level and not have your filming stuff down to a science and your coaches and everything. That's on you as the athlete and the team and stuff like that. I don't know how people are still messing that up or still having things happen where they step out of frame or the wall ball height, whatever it is. Is this just laziness or just like you're not thinking about it till you got to think about it? And then now you're all right, I want to go on this day. You show up to the gym. You're not doing the work. They're just starting to do it. And then now there's a problem and you don't want to wait another day. So you just do it. Like, I don't know. Like, it's got to be a.
Yeah. I think there's too much trust in people. Like, again, because I feel like sometimes you see training camps do it so well, so often, that you're like, why isn't everyone doing this? But I think some things you got to take out of the hands of the athletes or even the direct coach and just have a team and be like, you're framing, your second camera, you have to say all these things before you film, put it on a whiteboard, say it as you have the whiteboard up, do all the things that you know you're supposed to do and have your contingencies ready, have 3 clocks if you need them. All in a frame somewhere because something's gonna happen.
Especially with so much riding on it, your entire season, and you're gonna put it down to chance on this. And that's a perfect example with like you have to say all these things. There's every gym has a million whiteboards. Just write it down on one of them. Have a script. Heck, stand in frame with a piece of paper. Step what? My name is James McDermott.
Right. Yeah.
It is June. Like just like that. Just read it off there. I don't know why they're not doing that. So it's insane to me the penalties some people are getting, and then potentially not going to go.
Right.
And then the whole judging thing is a whole other conversation. On like, it's every sport. Like people get really upset about it in CrossFit. It's every sport. Like how many times are you watching a fight for the UFC or something and it gets stopped when you didn't think it should be stopped? In weightlifting, a clear press out from Lasha, but he ain't getting a call because he's above the rules. But you'll get a call. Like it's just an imperfect thing. I don't know if you can ever fix it because it's tough. You have a thing that is judging is there are standards, but then it's your opinion if they met the standard or not. And you're going to have human error and human success all the time. the judges are not AI machines that are just doing this. And it's it measured it to the degree. It has a little sensor in there. It's just your eyes, and like, so you may have yawned for a second or blinked. Have you ever, like, when you're judging someone, like your eye, like your eyes get a little dry, you blink and you're like, wait, what number are we on? What not? Like, like, I don't think you can ever fix it. I don't think it's ever, like, even if you have paid professionals, they're still going to make mistakes. There are plenty of sports that have paid professional officials, and they still blow big calls all the time.
Yep.
So how do you fix it, Miguel?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's that thing of, I mean, in combat sports, there are judges. And the things that coaches always tell their athletes is like, don't leave it up to the judges. And I think programming can also work the same way, where it's like, try to make things as clear and as easy as possible. The thing is, movement itself is, very on the line for certain things.
Yeah.
But yeah, try to make it as clear as possible so that you're not putting your judges in weird situations where anything could be on the line of standards.
Good example, crossover double unders. How many, before they announced that workout, of the judges knew they were going to do that and had the capability of counting crossover doubles? And you got to tell them, what a nightmare that must have been.
Yep.
So like I wouldn't do stuff like that. I don't think the 20th games is maybe the time to introduce something like that and leave it up to, well, this is the first time these judges are ever seeing it. Because no one, and it's good that they did that, because then at least got people in the community doing crossover singles and doubles, and it's a skill that people use more now. But like, I don't know if this will be the time to do it. I think that's something that, like, in the fall, CrossFit should be like, hey, have you thought about these different jump rope skills? Here's a progression, and they start putting it in the cap, and then that gets the community exposed to it. But you didn't have to keep it a secret until the announcement at the games. You could have started just introducing it back into the community months ago, and no one would have. Maybe some people are like, I wonder if they're going to do that at the games. People are going to say that with everything. But just have it pop up in .com programming, and have Cap make videos about it. Do a whole series on jump roping and be like, hey, did you know that there's more than 2 skills on the jump rope? And you got David Newman out there teaching people how to do stuff. I think that'd be a better way to start to introduce things to the community, and then have it come into competition.
Mm-hmm.
Well, any other thoughts on semifinals or the games before we continue to talk more about the games in the future?
We'll see how it shakes out. And again, the hope is that the fittest make it to the games, and that the games are well done as well. So we'll see.
Is there anyone in the semifinals bracket? So taking 7, is there anyone that you want to qualify that you're nervous might not?
No, it seems like everyone that I was looking out for is comfortably in. I guess Pat Vellner he's on the bubble for that last spot, so I think he's probably safe. But I mean, if he didn't, that would be sad, I guess.
Yeah, I'd like things to go well for Pat. Let's. I hope he qualifies and then can just see out this plan of like putting his shoes up and then just be like you said, like actually be done with it after that. And I think doing the
end of the final heat as well.
Yeah. Oh, you want to make it to the
I don't want it to be like 28th.
Yeah.
Make it worth it,
I hope he makes it. I hope he gets there, and I hope he is the foil for people getting into like top 10, top 5, things like that. It's like, oh crap, like the veteran, like you're fighting with the veteran to get in these spots, and then he's like always right on the bubble as a threat. I would love to see that. That's exciting, versus like, all right, everybody, here he is. Everyone's crying.
They wheel him out.
Yeah, because he can't do things, and he's like failing and stuff like that. Like, all right, if Pat Vellner makes it and he goes, and it's known that this is his final thing, and he's doing okay, is he a shoo-in for the Spirit of the Games award?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think if he executes well enough, because he's a good guy and people like him. I think that's
Yeah.
really a big part of it. Like he's good with competitors, and yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think especially if like he has those workouts where he's not going to finish, but like he's not doing what like the young bucks are doing, where they're like kind of phoning it in or not. Like he's like Chris Spieler trying to push the sled.
Right.
I think if he's got some moments like that, I think if he has some moments where if he wins one workout, like like maybe there's one workout that he wins the whole thing, his final event win ever, and he is close to the top 10 or top 10, and he's like battling with people. I think that'd be cool. I would give it to him for sure. Yeah. All right. That's our prediction for Spirit of the Games.
Yeah.
Pat Vellner. There's just no one else. Like they already gave it to Colton, but it's like, all right, like I don't know. I guess you got to see what happens in competition to see.
Right.
I don't even know what the standard is to like who gets that award type of thing.
Yeah.
I think last year, I think everyone just likes Colton. So I think last year they were like he's super popular. Let's give it to him. Because I don't know if there were very many moments of like competition hardship or stuff like that. Because there was one year, I think it was Elizabeth Akinwale had some issues with the swim, or she got sick or something and battled back, and you remember that, where she got Spirit of the Games?
That's like right before my time.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
But it was, she had to overcome something.
Yeah.
It's a big story. Versus this one, like I know his jump rope broke at one point.
Yeah.
But I also know like everyone loves him. So like I don't know why he got it, I don't know why one year Noah got it, other than like everyone just likes him. He's friendly. That's kind of they're like he's a friendly guy, They're like he could have won it if he held on to the barbell, but he didn't. But so he gets Spirit of the Games instead, All right. Well, we'll continue to talk about it. Did you have any other topics for this topic, or any points?
Nope.
All right. Semifinals is done. We'll find out. We'll announce. Is it too early to say predictions on who we would hope to win the games?
I think we can save that.
Save that.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there anyone on the list from the in-person semifinals that is most likely to win, or are there some dark horses that could be coming in from the online? Or is the online just filling in the rest of the field? Like the winner will be from the who we already have going.
I would say most likely. Yeah. I mean, for the women, I would say maybe Alexis Raptis, but I mean, she's always one or the other. She always either does really well or kind of falls apart. So, yeah, but otherwise, I think on the men's side, it's going to be a previous champion, I think.
Really? Okay. Not a new champion.
Yeah, I mean, you got James Sprague, you got Jeff Adler, you got Jason Hopper. So I think it's one of them.
Justin Medeiros?
Yeah. No, also, yeah.
Yeah. See, I hope that this is all part of his plan. Like, all right, I'm gonna make it look like I'm struggling, and then I'm gonna qualify and crush the online semifinals, and then I'm gonna come in as his dark horse and just beat everybody, get my third title.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. That, or there's still Ricky.
Yeah.
He would have won last year, but that pegboard. All right. Okay, cool. Well, we'll come back to this topic for sure. There's a lot to talk about, and I can't believe the games is in a month, right?
I think first week of August. Yeah, basically.
Yeah. I feel like the time is going by faster than last year. Maybe it's because of the anticipation's different,
right?
And all the build up for us preparing the gym and stuff like that. But it's kind of flying by. I think it's because we're not thinking about it all the time. It's like I haven't really thought about the CrossFit Games until we were talking about it today. So, all right, awesome. Well, Miguel, where can people follow you?
At Couldn't Be Miguel on Instagram.
Miguel, follow me, James A. McDermott, Albany CrossFit Barbell Club, and we'll be back next week to talk about more stuff, coaching related probably. All right, later, Miguel.
Yep.
And thank you everybody for listening. Stream.